Hey, if I could please have your attention, I'll call the meeting to order this morning. This is the October meeting of the Wilson County Board of Zoning Appeals. Appreciate everyone joining us this morning. We have a prepared agenda that's been advertised. Do we have anyone with us that has a case on the agenda that they would like to have deferred or withdrawn? And if not, our agenda will stand as advertised. And as a reminder, if everyone would please silence your cell phones.
That wasn't me.
I will, Chairman. I was trying to do that.
One of our members is absent this morning, and as a result, one of our alternates will be filling her seat on the board. So, Mr. Manning, if you would please fill in for Ms. Robinson. Also, the board needs to reappoint officers for the coming year. So I'm going to move the officer appointment from the rear of the meeting up to the first, and let's get that little piece of housekeeping over with. Do I have any recommendation on officers?
Unless there's a huge issue, I think we'll just keep them as is.
Okay. I have a recommendation to keep our officer slate as is. Anyone else have any thoughts? And you make that form of a motion. Mr. Blades is seconded. Any discussion? And if not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Any opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. We have a court recorder here with us this morning that's taking a record and transcript of our proceeding. The court recorder is provided at the expense of Wilson County. If you would like a transcript of one of the cases, you may do so. That transcript will be at your expense, and you would obtain the transcript by seeing the court recorder at the conclusion of our meeting this morning. If you do plan to speak either in support or opposition to any of our cases, you will need to be sworn in. So at this time, if you do plan to speak, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give before this board to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. When I call each case, I'll read the case and its case number. Mr. Lawless will give us the staff recommendations on the case that our professional staff has prepared for us. If you would, if you're the applicant or that person who's supporting the case or has made application, if you would please come to the podium, give us your name and address, and then you can make any statement that you'd like to the board. Also, if you'd like to speak in support or opposition to a case, we'll give you that same opportunity after the applicant has had the opportunity to make their statements. Just a reminder to everyone, the meeting this morning is being taped, and it will be available on the YouTube platform, Wilson County TV, for viewing at a later time if you'd like to review what went on. In regard to each case, we will have a public hearing. As I move through the agenda, we'll have a public hearing in regard to each case, and everyone will have the opportunity to speak in regard to that particular case. The state requires that we have a general comment period during each public meeting. So is there anyone here this morning who wishes to speak during the general comment period? This is not necessarily pertaining to any case. We'll have those comments later. But does anyone here wish to speak during the general comment period? And if there are none, then I'll close the public comment period. And turning to the board, you were sent the minutes from the September meeting earlier this month, and you've had an opportunity to review those. At this time, do I have anyone who wants to make any corrections to the minutes from the September meeting? And if I don't have any corrections, do I hear a motion we approve the minutes from September?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes? And if not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. Now moving into our regular agenda. Case 4334, deferred from September. Request of Theodore Bunting, requesting to use the property for short-term rental. Property is located at 2101 Linwood Road, Lot 1A, William McKee property, parcel 5.06, on Wilson County Tax Map 111, consists of 10.87 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4334. Or excuse me, we already had staff recommendations. You just want to review those, Christopher?
I can. I do not have any additional information. I will reiterate that this originally came in on a complaint. The applicant had stated to staff that the nature of that complaint, they are no longer going to have the event center on site. The property does meet the 2-acre minimum requirement for an Airbnb. Staff can recommend approval.
Okay. Just to summarize, we had our public hearing on this case last month. And I think several people had the opportunity to speak, and after we closed the public hearing, the board asked that the applicants, the ownership, be here to respond to questions. So we're not going to open the public hearing up to people who have already had the opportunity to comment, but is there anyone here in regard to this particular case, case 4334 Bunting on Linwood Road, that did not get the opportunity to comment last month? Yes, sir. Come forward, please. Name and address, please.
My name is Theodore Bunting, Jr. My current address recently is 3755 Holmes Gap Road, Watertown, Tennessee. This is my wife, Toby Bunting. We both reside at the same residence.
And are you the owner?
I am the owner. We are the owners, yes, sir.
So to the board, excuse me, anything you'd like to tell the board?
Well, first, I'd like to apologize to the board for not being here last month. It was brought to our attention in September that we needed to apply for a zoning variance, which we didn't realize, quite frankly. That's our fault. And we did that as quickly as possible. We had a trip planned, and we thought we would be able to make our flight, but based on where we showed up on the agenda, it was clear that we would not be able to. Our flight time got changed a little bit, and so we were not able to make it. Apologize for that. We had all intention of being here and representing our interest. What I would also say is we recognize that we didn't ask for this zoning when we should have, and we take full responsibility for that. But we're here to try to do everything we can to abide by the zoning requirements, to abide by the rules and regulations as specified. I was born and raised in rural Arkansas, not here in Tennessee, and my mom always told me, when you know better, you do better, and that's our intention, is to do better.
Just to clarify, this is an application for short-term rental, not an event venue.
Correct, and the event venue actually is a building we put there, we use for personal use primarily. We actually, again, didn't realize we had to go through zoning for that as well. Anything related to that event venue has been totally removed. It is not being advertised at all, and the primary use for it, quite frankly, so far has been, we had a family reunion there in July, and we used that event building for that particular purpose. I believe a lady has used it for
menopause retreat, yoga, menopause retreat.
Yeah, I believe once, and so
Now it's storage.
now it's storage because we moved out of our house in Mount Juliet, and we've got a lot of our items stored in it. But there is no intended use to use it for that. As I talked with Ms. Murphy about it when she called and questioned me on it. So
Let me interrupt you. The board, I think, may have had some questions for y'all that they wanted answered directly. Do y'all still have those questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, why don't you?
Just going through the packet, and we had testimony last month of, you're Toby? Okay, you haven't received a phone call, and it's talking about ATV trails and the statements that, the county doesn't know, that it doesn't matter what goes on. Do you still?
Did I say that?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'll jump in on that. We had sworn testimony last month by neighbors who testified that you guys, either one of you or both, had said that regardless of what this board did, the event center would continue. And so that's what we wanted to do. And I understand that's what was told there.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Quite frankly, let me give you some
No
history.
one's even used our ATVs. They're over on.
Our
the whole
ATVs
back
are
road.
actually out
Right,
on the
we're-
property.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We get a little emotional. I'm sorry. I apologize. We built this house for my in-laws, and they lived there for four years until they moved to Arizona.
My mom had a stroke, so. it's-
And so we then had a house, and what do we do with it? Because we had a home in Mount Juliet. We also have another home out in Watertown. And my wife came up with the idea to do an Airbnb. And again, we take responsibility for the fact that we didn't do our due diligence as related to what we needed to
I
do.
just wanted to make sure y'all understood there's rules and regulations and zoning ordinances
Yes.
that need to be
And
followed.
I was like, I did not think that I needed a zoning for my friend told me about Airbnb, she had done it, so I just went ahead and started doing it. But now that I know that there's rules and guidelines, like, I will abide by anything that needs to be.
Then also, I saw,
That's my mistake, and I take it.
yeah, there's one document I saw where you had advertised 12 guests, and it's a 3-bedroom. So I think you've corrected that.
We've changed that.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've changed it.
Because the Airbnbs, I've said before, like if you have pull-out beds and stuff like that, you can get more people in.
Okay.
But since that, I've changed it to only 6
Okay.
people.
And again,
Because there were several that was
they brought it to our
upset
attention.
about what was going on, so they're going to continue to watch.
And I'm okay. And-
That's
and,
fine.
like, and we brought.
Okay, and that's good,
Yeah.
People, they
Yeah.
come, they do birthday parties, a lot of people have family in Watertown.
and that's fine.
And so, there was one time, there was a party, and like, I actually changed my plans because it seemed fishy. I met with the mother, she said it was just couples, so I actually didn't leave until the next day. And so that, I take responsibility. And after that, I've changed how I interview guests. They have to have
Okay.
reviews, it can't be a new person.
And they have to have 5-star ratings
Yeah,
on
so
Airbnb.
They have to be credited, otherwise they cannot stay there.
Okay.
And so that was on me, and I,
But in regard to the neighbors, we don't live there every day. I would go out, maintain the property. I couldn't tell you who the people are next to us. I don't know if I've ever even met any of them. So for anyone to say they've actually spoken to us about this is,
We just wanted that, I personally wanted that addressed. You have addressed that. So I'm willing to move on.
I think that's enough said about
Yeah.
that issue.
I have another issue here. I guess this is your business plan, and I'm sure it's probably going to be updated. It says here 12 guests maximum.
that was where we were rushing. the
Okay, I just want to make sure that because 6, my understanding is 6 will be the maximum.
And now it's on the website at 6.
Okay, and then this may be the party you were talking about. It says this is a, I guess, a review you received in April 2025. It says it's a group trip. We had my best friend's bachelorette party at your house, so I would assume that if you have a party, that it will be 6 people or fewer.
correct.
So that wasn't.
Going forward.
Yeah, going forward, yes, because a lot of people have wanted bachelorette parties, and I have allowed that, and they said everyone wasn't staying, but as going forward, there will be no bachelorette
Do
party.
we have that, Mr. Chairman, do we have a preview to limit the number of people that are there for a party?
Or like a birthday party.
We have limited the number of guests, by
Overnight.
minimum count. I don't know that we've ever limited the number of visitors.
I don't know how we would enforce that either.
How do you enforce whether 10 people spend the night out there or 6 people spend the night out there?
We don't. There's a lot of an honor system here as well.
Okay, so I guess my question will be, if the neighbors complain, there's 20 people out there, we don't know how many spent, or 30 people, there's a bachelorette party, and the neighbors documenting that and complain that when they come back a year from now, how do we deal with, where they spent the night, or they not? I mean, I'm just saying, how do we deal with that going forward?
We have it with, so you can clearly see the cars, so if there's 20 people there, you're going to have a lot of cars there.
Right.
That would be true. And I wonder if we're on solid ground, questioning and requiring things of these folks that we haven't required over the last.
This is what they handed in, now I'm just reading their documents here.
My document?
Yeah, that's the business plan you put
Yes,
together.
this-
Remember, right?
No, I didn't attach that to my document.
Oh,
So how did I get this?
I have,
It's got your reviews, so I'm assuming.
no, that's not, that's,
It's probably from the Airbnb.
advertisement.
It's from the Airbnb.
yeah,
Right, okay.
that was not part of my
Yeah,
business
no,
plan.
but that's the public,
No, it is,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's from the Airbnb.
No, I understand.
which it's been changed now. I know.
Okay.
I have to look, if I took off events, I'm going to double check when I get home, and that will be off, so it's only 6 people. Unless they can have birthday parties, it's up to you guys, or how you want me to handle that.
I feel like that would be, if we want to have the discussion on visitors to Airbnbs, we're going to have a longer discussion about how that might be addressed.
Our regulation ends at 6 overnight guests. Would that be correct?
Currently, yes.
Okay.
One of the things also I want to clarify, this house is at least 400 feet to the nearest physical facility off our property. So we're not on top of people. And I understand, noise can travel, and I can understand people can be disrupted. We have no intent to create nuisance for our neighbors. I wish our neighbors had actually came to us and said, we have some issues with what's going on here, and talked to us about it, because none ever did.
Who is you have to have someone within so many miles to respond, a caretaker or what?
They've stated that they're doing it, and they live on Holmes Gap Road.
We live on Holmes Gap Road.
And then his sister lives,
The reason we're a little concerned is, and we always are with Airbnbs or short-term rentals, is people who rent these sometimes, not everybody by any means, but every once in a while, people can find increasingly clever ways to make mischief.
No, I understand.
And,
We have
I think that's
boys,
all I need to say.
so we understand. Yeah.
You have a question?
Yeah, well, kind of a statement, I guess. This is one part of the requirement is you have to have somebody within a 10-mile area. So if there is a complaint, rather than wait months or days later, then if they put somebody in the area, a neighbor had a complaint about an issue right then, they would call you, because you're listed within the 10 miles as the contact.
Yes.
okay.
And also, everybody, I think, understands that the sheriff's department's also listed.
Yeah.
So, they don't have to, if somebody has a complaint, they don't have to wait. They contact you.
And actually, I would love for them to contact us if they have a complaint.
Just out of curiosity, how far is your home where you have your residence from this location?
It's probably a 10-minute drive. We're on Holmes Gap. This is on Linwood Road. If you're familiar with Watertown, you basically can go through a couple of different routes. But I think my sister timed it once. She said it's a 12-minute drive, so.
There, that's not very far. Okay. Do we have any other questions from the board for the applicant? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else here who wishes to address this case who did not have the opportunity to speak last month? Okay. And if not, I'll close the public comment on 4334 Bunting and turn to the board if you want to have any more discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve, based on the information we had from the two people here, with understanding that they're going to abide by the rules that has been stated in their business plan
So
for 1 year.
For 1 year, total of 6 guests, business plan part of the approval, and for 1 year, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a second. Go ahead with the discussion.
And could we specifically add in there that there, and I know we don't need to, but that there is not to be an event center operated, because,
It does not hurt a thing.
okay, I would like to amend and add that into the motion.
Mr. Blaze, do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve with the amendment that they operate no event center. And then that motion includes the maximum number of people at 6. Business plan covers the custodian and the operating hours and quiet time. The approval is for 1 year. Any discussion? And if there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition, vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you all for coming. Our next case, let me get my paperwork right here. Our next case is case 4336, Vance Bradshaw, requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet for an accessory structure. If approved, the proposed structure will be 25 feet in height. The property is located at 145 Karen Drive, Lot 40, Verona Hills, parcel 42.44 on tax map 49. Consists of 2.4 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations now on 4336.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet for an accessory structure. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the proposed height variance.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4336? Yes, sir. Come forward, please. Give us your name and address,
Vance Bradshaw, 145 Karen Drive.
and what would you like to tell the board, sir?
Well, we'd like to respectfully request a variance to the height restriction. The building is for an indoor pickleball court, and the additional height allows us the room we need for that activity there for ourselves.
Okay.
Who would be playing pickleball?
Family and friends there, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the board for the applicant?
Would there be any type of league ran there, or any type of commercial or tournaments, or anything that would be of commercial recreational type?
No, sir, just one court and then a place to hang out inside, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Nobody would have to pay to participate or pay to come play?
No.
Okay.
Other questions from the board? Does anyone else wish to address 4336? All right. If not, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you, sir. And turn to the board for discussion or a motion. If I recall, we denied one of these in February for a pickleball court. And any discussion or a motion?
I would just, as discussion, it seems we've had a lot of different discussions on height variances with accessory buildings. We've denied a lot, and we've approved a lot. I don't know how consistent we've been either way.
We have not.
We've not been consistent. That's a good way to put it. We've not been consistent either way. Personally, I feel like it depends on how close you are to the property line and how big a lot you have. But that would just be my personal opinion.
This gentleman's got 2.4 acres, and he shows on his drawing.
He's 50 foot from the side property lines on 50 foot from one side and 45 from the other. Is that correct?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
But from the front, he's a lot further than that, from the street. So,
Yes, yeah, he's, yeah,
over,
yeah,
Probably
300 feet.
yeah.
300
Or more, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we approve this based on the fact that he has over a 2-acre size lot, and the fact that he is over 300 feet from the road and at least 45 foot or more from each side yard.
Have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Discussion on the motion. You know, I can't tell this guy that was here in February that, you were denied, and this gentleman here.
I understand.
approved.
We have,
I think that's
hopefully we're
very good
working
lesson
on,
in what happens when you're not consistent.
hopefully we're updating our height variances on our accessory structures. I don't know that needs to be brought up, but hopefully that's in the
I
process.
think that's on tap for the next
It is-
planning and zoning committee meeting.
It is in the pipeline. It'll be on the next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, which would then forward it to Planning Commission and then County Commission. So you're looking at a minimum of 60 days out.
All right.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I would also want to add, just in the public comment part, that it was very clear that this gentleman under testimony is using this for personal use only. There's not any commercial or not anything of that nature existing. I just want to throw that out there as well. Thank you.
Any other discussion, any other comments? And if you're ready to vote, the motion is to approve 4336. All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no, and I vote no, so that would be 4 in favor and 1 opposed. Okay. Our next case is case 4337, Kepley Properties, requesting a variance from the road frontage requirement of 50 feet, a variance of 10 feet from the front setback requirement of 40 feet, and a variance of 10 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 20 feet. If approved, the applicant will be able to replace the existing house and be 30 feet from the front property line and 10 feet from the east side property line. Applicant is also in need of a variance of 20 feet from the lot width requirement of 125 feet, and a variance of approximately 20,666 square feet from the lot size requirement of 40,000 square feet. The property is located at 1330 Vesta Road, parcel 35.01 on Wilson County Tax Map 142, consists of 19,334 square feet, zoned A1 agricultural. The property became of record October 1976. Get staff recommendations on 4337.
Mr. Chair, applicant is requesting a variance from the road frontage requirement of 50 feet, and I'll address the easement. A variance of 10 feet from the front setback requirement of 40 feet, a variance of 10 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 20 feet. Applicant also needs a variance of 20 feet from the lot width requirement and 125 feet, and a variance of approximately 20,666 square feet from the lot size requirement of 40,000 square feet at present. This is an existing substandard lot. The proposed home will not have the same footprint as the existing home. However, the new home will sit further from the front property line than the existing structure currently sits. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, due to this being an older lot of record, staff can recommend approval of the requested variances. To staff's knowledge, the home that is on site was constructed in 1957. Staff will also note that the applicant in this process is getting a plat recorded for the property. The property appears to have been created by quitclaim deed around 1976, in which the easement is outlined in that property, in that deed for access to the property. The original deeds for this tract in some form or fashion date back to 1939.
Okay, clarify for me, if the lot was created in 76, how do you define it as an older lot of record?
That is when the lot was, it gets really fuzzy. The original tract of land that this is sitting on was created in 1939 based off of what I can read in the deeds. This particular tract, I think, was cut off with the easement listed in 1976. So the tract itself is older. This particular tract, I can't delineate all the language in the deeds, but if it was substandard then, it would not be an older tract of record. I do have deeds for this particular piece of property that date back to 1939.
But again, you've defined this as an older lot of record that would be eligible for variances.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The only one that would change if we made it a newer tract of record would be the side yard setback, because it's encroaching further than the existing house. Everything else would be, I would probably still recommend approval for.
Gotcha, okay. Who's here to represent Kepley Properties, case 4337? Yes, sir. Come forward, please. Please give us your name and address.
Lee Knight and 312 Moccasin Road.
Okay. And what would you like to tell the board, if anything?
Nothing. I just want to build it. That new house would be 4 feet closer to the property line than what it is now. And the side setbacks, would be, if you accounted for the old lane, which is 20 feet wide, we would still be within setbacks
Got you.
for the side setback.
Any questions for this applicant from the board? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4337 Kepley? Yes, sir, come forward, please.
My name is Brian Wright, and I live at 1738 Vesta Road. We own the property that is adjacent to this. Or the northeastern portion of our property has that cutout for this lot. We share a driveway that goes to this lot and goes back to our farm, and we just want to make sure that we will be able to continue to use this driveway without it being blocked. They're building the house, it'll be 10 feet from the driveway. And my wife and I use this driveway occasionally. It's really the only way to get to that side of our farm. Our farm was bought in 3 tracks, and
Do you have an easement?
where he was talking about things being fuzzy on this, going back to 1939.
The reason I ask, we're not granting anyone any
Right.
easements or taking away any easements
Right.
at this board.
Well, the reason I bring this up is because there's a dumpster blocking the driveway right now that I believe they probably put there to take down the house. And we don't really know who owns the driveway. It's called a private lane, and we found several documents showing that private lane going back to our farm. Our farm was the Lane Farm, and that's where that section was cut out when Mr. Lane moved into that house in 1930 or 1976. The driveway continues back onto our farm and goes to his old house. That's what's left of it still
I
there.
think this is a private civil issue that the
Yep.
board doesn't have any authority to deal with.
Okay. I just want to say that we support the zoning, but we just want to make sure that the driveway is not being blocked since the house is going to be 10 feet from it. When they're building the house, construction equipment and so forth, that we can still continue to use the driveway.
I think that would be an issue
Okay.
you would take up with the gentleman.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything that we need to discuss here.
Okay. We support the zoning variances, though. We'll be happy to have a new house there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to address 4337 Kepley, excuse me? Yes, sir, you want to come forward?
Good morning. Michael Butler. I live at 1065 Greenville Road, Milton, Tennessee. I own a piece of property out there east of that drive that going back to that old house. And we've had some other things going on out there that makes me a little bit leery about what is actually going to take place with that property. And I understand the gentleman talked about building a house, which is fine. I want everybody to have a house and home. But I'm not willing to give up any of my property to make this thing happen. Just want to let you know that.
No, we're not taking anyone's property.
Okay.
I think one of these is for an easement width requirement. The easement width requirement, Karen, is what, 40 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet in the county?
It'd be
30,
For an easement, 30.
and he's wanting to use 20, right?
Well, I didn't find anything that stated the width. The deeds that I found, unless Christopher found something, the deeds that I found said something about a private lane. And that's all I found.
So what we're granting him is the permission to vary from the width that's required by the zoning ordinance. Doesn't say he can take anybody's property or anything. We don't have that authority.
Okay, I didn't think so, but I still wanted to come. That's all I've got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Anyone else? 4337.
And Mr. Chair, while he's walking up, we're actually not granting an easement with variance on this. We're actually granting a variance of just not having road frontage, period, because we didn't have any knowledge of how wide the easement actually is. So the variance is for,
Got you, okay. It's
Lack of
correct on the paperwork. Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. If there's no one else wishes to address this case, we'll close the public hearing and turn to the board. Have any discussion, or would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve case 4337.
Have a motion to approve 4337 based on staff comments. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Our next case is case 4338, Wilson Trucking and Excavating on behalf of Andrew Carta, requesting a variance of 26 feet from the west rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. The existing house is 14 feet from the west rear property line. The variance will allow the property owner to build a pool that will meet all required setbacks. The property is located at 608 Cooks Hill Road, Lot 62, Poplar Point, Parcel 41, Group A on Wilson County Tax Map 55A. Consists of approximately 40,145 square feet, zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations on 4338.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 26 feet from the west rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. Because this is an existing structure built in 1987 and prior to the property owner owning this property, and along with this property having 2 rear yards, and the reason it has 2 rear yards is this is considered a corner lot. Staff can recommend approval of the setback variance. If this were not a corner lot, the setback requirement for that barn would have been, at the time that it was built, would have been 5 feet off the property line.
Okay.
At present, it is 14 feet off.
Gotcha. Okay, who's here to represent 4338 Wilson Trucking? Yes, sir.
Matt Wilson, 580 Chapel. It's my understanding this house was part of Phase 1 for Poplar Point. At that time, it was well within its compliance. But when they extended and built Phase 2, that put this house out of compliance with the setbacks.
Well, he's recommended approval, so I guess it complies with something.
Good. The customer would love to have his pool.
Anything else? Does the board have questions for the applicant? Anyone else wish to address 4338 Wilson Trucking? If not, we'll close the public hearing, turn to the board for a motion or any discussion.
I'll make a motion we approve.
A motion that we approve 4338 based on staff recommendations. Does he have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion by the board. If there's none, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Our next case is 4339. Garner Construction, on behalf of Scott Hoffman, requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet for an accessory structure. If approved, the proposed accessory structure will be 25 feet in height. The property is located at 19 Harbor Drive, Lot 14, Spencer Creek Lakeside Homes, is parcel 24, Group A on Wilson County Tax Map 13-0. Consists of 1.46 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. Get staff recommendations on 4339.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet for an accessory structure. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff is unable to recommend approval.
Okay, who's here to represent 4339, Garner Construction?
My name is Brennan Simon with Garner Construction. I'm representing Scott Hoffman. We are requesting a 3-foot height variance to the accessory structure. He is wanting to build a garage, 2-story garage, The client is planning on demolishing the existing house in the future when the funds are available, and they're requesting this garage and the second story for storage as they live out of town. So the items that are in the house, they would like to build the garage and have that for storage. The 3 feet is, we can't reduce the first floor anymore due to the use of putting a boat down in the first floor and the way we're going to condition the space in the future. And the second story deck so that they can overlook the lake. If we reduce the height on that, we couldn't get the windows and doors in there as designed.
So this second floor is a dwelling unit, it's a living space.
It's planning on being storage right now. No plans for...
It has sliding doors, windows, a balcony?
Yeah, so it has a second-story deck so it can overlook the lake. Windows so that when they build the future house, it matches with that.
Why would you need a balcony overlooking the lake for a storage unit? That's what the upstairs is intended for.
Yeah, so they were wanting the height elevation for the second-story deck so it could overlook the lake.
Question.
Go right ahead.
Plan on putting a bathroom in this garage or whatever you call it?
There is plumbing rough-ins that were going, not finishing it out at the time, but so that they could have access to put in a restroom for when they're on the lake, or like possibly a shower to rinse off when they have guests come down and view and use the lake.
That wouldn't be part of the initial construction?
No.
All right.
Am I correct in looking at your plat here that it's 9 foot from the property? Would that be the side yard? What is this?
I think it's 15 feet.
15? What are you saying on the south side?
There's an existing shed that's 15 feet. That's being removed.
Is that what this black, is that the existing shed, or is that
The existing shed is 15 feet from the property line.
I say a 9 right there, but I may be looking at...
That would be the new, the black. The 9 is representing the existing shed that's there that would be taken down during construction.
Okay.
The proposed structure is going to be 20 feet off the property
There
line.
is an existing small shed that would need to be taken down before construction. That is sitting 9 feet off of the property line right now. When that comes down, the new structure would be 15 feet.
Yeah, existing shed. But there's nothing here that shows that. This is the existing shed, right?
That would be the new structure.
This would be the new structure?
Yes.
Because the arrows that's pointing to it says 9.
I think that was trying to represent the existing. There is a gray line where it shows the existing, that's trying to represent the existing shed that's there.
Okay. Any other questions from the board for the applicant? And if not, does anyone else here wish to address 4339 Garner Construction?
Mr. Chairman, let me, just 1 second, question.
Go ahead.
What you have here, it gives the appearance of a future, you said a apartment up there or a place they can stay. How do you get into like septic issues and tanks and hooking up? And Christopher, is that something we need to be?
I mean, if it's going to be processed as a legal ADU, I mean, it would be 600 square feet. And then they would have to prove that they have, when they pull the permit for that, they have to prove that they have enough septic to support that. Now, this structure is 36 by 38 roughly, which is well over the minimum square footage of what we would allow for an ADU if it ended up being converted.
I'm not trying to put bore into it, but it gives the appearance that there's plans in the future, and, we hear things all the time about septic and all those kind of issues.
We've recently redone their septic tank as the existing septic tank was damaged, and we put in a 1,500-gallon septic tank in the last month.
So there's an existing house here,
Yes.
and this is a new construction, and so you're telling us at some point they're going to tear down the house and move into this structure?
No, the plan is for them to tear down the house and build a new structure that would match the style of this. They will build that at the max zoning, which my understanding is 35 feet. So they would build that at that, and then at that point, this additional structure would comply with the zoning because it's less than the original structure in following the roof lines.
Gotcha.
Is that correct?
And siding.
If you get the variance for the height.
I think what he's saying, like if he were to build the house first, this accessory structure is going to match the predominant building material on the roof pitch, so he wouldn't need the variance. He's just doing it in reverse order at present.
Correct, so that way they have storage for their items when they're under construction of the new place, because they live in Baltimore, and this is their lake house that they come down and use in the summertime. It was their grandfather's property, and so they're going to be building a new house to match, and they want the storage at the time.
All right, thank you, sir.
Wait just a second. And I know we beat this to death, but anyway, so your testimony, your sworn testimony is going to be a storage. The upstairs is going to be for storage purposes. They're going to tear the house down. They live out of state. So once they tear the house down and they're building a new house and they come in to visit, they're not going to stay here in this building. They're going to stay in a hotel room. They're going to stay with friends and family. Where,
from my
nobody going to live in this thing ever?
From my
Or
understanding,
a weekend or anything?
From my understanding, no one is planning on living in that structure that's being built. It's for storage, and I did not ask them what their plans are, if they planning on visiting.
That may be a little too far. That may be inappropriate for me to ask that, but that thought went through my head. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, come forward, please.
I'm Joel Castens, I'm a next door neighbor. And so I'm here to talk about the height, and I want to understand, where do you measure that from?
It's from the peak.
First, let me say I'm in favor of them doing it.
From the existing ground?
It'd be from the existing grade to the peak. Now, if the existing grade is sloped, it's supposed to be an average. So if the structure is 40 feet long, you'd measure it from the peak at 20 foot.
So that's a map I printed this morning from Wilson County GIS showing the contour, because ever since I've heard this discussed, I've been, well, why does the height matter? It's lower than anything around it. See what I'm saying?
Well, it's measured from the existing ground, not the building pad, but the existing grade.
Right, which would be that,
and
which
it's an
shows it
average.
5 to 10 feet lower than anything around it. It's in a lower, it's like in a swell, if you would.
The ordinance requires that if they want to be above 22 feet as measured, that they have to come here and get a variance, because 22 feet's the max we currently allow.
I'm on.
By right.
I'm good with that. I understand all that. I just want, like when I was looking at this, that doesn't tell you that it's lower. You guys can't tell that. So I'm just pointing it out. And then the other thing I wanted to point out, so I've said that now, you know. The other thing is that I've lived there for, I've lived there for 34 years. And I don't think any of the neighbors are going to have a problem with this. In fact, I have a letter from another elderly neighbor who's saying he doesn't have a problem. He's not saying he approves, but everybody wants them to do what they want to do. So
I want to address this. So you're, I guess just
makes sense.
for the yeah. Basically, what I'm saying on this for the public and everybody is the building envelope for this accessory structure is 10 foot below the road grade. Would that be correct? It's 455, road grade is 465.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, that, and
Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, I mean, I used to
5-foot
mow
contour.
Dr. Bear's yard.
Road is at 465, the building envelope is at 4, so it's 10 foot below.
And the,
60, 65,
Yes.
70 or 75.
Yeah.
And the building would be about
455 would be, I was measuring from the side road.
my house is the one that's highlighted on there. And then the other,
Okay,
the
that's
closest house to them is the one on the other side, which is a lot higher. It's up at 470. So anyway, I'm just putting my word out there that I hope you vote yes, because they're good neighbors, so.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to address 4339 Garner Construction? Hoffman. Okay. If not, we'll close public comment and turn to the board for further discussion or a motion.
What do we do with the fact, or does it matter that they're 10, 15, 20 foot below the road grade? That doesn't really,
No, I mean, you can't, I mean, I guess you can take that comment into consideration, but you can't base your vote off of that, because historically, we've always measured it from the existing grade to the peak, regardless of where the road grade is.
So it's the average of the existing grade to the peak of the proposed structure.
Yes, sir. There's nothing in our ordinance that says you get height increases
if you build down
if
in
you're
a
below
hole, or you lose
road
height
grade.
increases if you build up on a hill.
Correct, yeah.
All that logic, you get a big enough hill, you can't have a building.
That would be true.
You want to go down that rabbit hole, that's where you go. All right, in regard to 4339, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I will, based on the testimony given here, I will move that we approve this. I will also mention that there's a, didn't mount to anything, but there's a contour map that I would like to be a part of that, the testimony given or whatever. I don't know if we need to add it to our packet or whatever. It may not matter legally, but I think in a common sense, when you put your feet on the ground, it would matter about the height of a building, whether that building was down low or up really, really, really high.
I just want to advise you that contour map on our Wilson County website is not survey grade. Those are for reference points only.
Okay.
So
all right. Well,
those contours will be plus or minus 2 to 3 feet, or have the potential to be plus or minus 2 to 3 feet.
all right, well, that has nothing to do with my motion, then.
So we have a motion. Does he have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. And discussion. You know, this lot's, this is down on the, I guess it's down on the lake. It's very small, and it's troubling to me to give a height variance on something that looks like it's very much headed to be a house.
I have reservations on that, but
So, other than it doesn't qualify for a variance under the ordinance, and it looks suspiciously like a alternative use in the future.
I'll agree.
So, any other comments or discussion?
Can we put in the motion that it has to be the same material as the proposed house in the future? That way.
that was brought up in testimony. I would, can we amend the motion to that?
It has to be the same.
Same roof pitch, same building material as the house, which was proposed in the, he said he was going to do that.
It would match, and if he.
And then he wouldn't need a height variance.
If he built the house.
Well, he's putting the garage before the house in this case. Yes.
If I could amend my motion and add that, I would.
And you want the amendment to say what?
That the accessory building will have to match, the roof pitch will have to match the house, and the building material on the side has to match the house. The new house to be built.
So you wanted to match something.
That's the testimony that the applicant gave here, yes. So I want to.
Been built, yeah.
Yes, so when they build the new house, everything will have to match. Is that doable? I'm just holding the applicant to what he said under oath.
I think it's very doable. We're not asking the applicant what he builds this garage out of is the thing. So as long as it's considered structurally sound and he builds this thing out of garage doors, we're going to require him to build a home completely built out of garage doors. I think you're getting real iffy on building materials here, because we're not asking the building material of the garage anywhere in our permitting process. We have a notion in there, if you build the garage second and you match the primary building material of the home, you get extended height up to 35 feet.
So what we're doing is placing a obligation on a house that hasn't been.
But he placed it, the applicant himself said he was going to do it.
Right, yeah, you all are placing an obligation on a house that hasn't been built, not knowing the building material of the garage, nor having any enforcement of the building material of the garage.
You could build a garage out of paper mache.
He could, yes, sir. And that would be what the house has to be built out of at that point. With that,
Murphy has said that our motion was based on his testimony. So maybe we don't need that in our actual amendment. Maybe we're covered because his testimony says.
Motion's based on his testimony. I can't say that the person building the house is going to be him.
Well, it's based on the applicant, so if we get a new applicant, then everything goes away?
I don't know if Mike's going to be able to defend that particular motion in court.
You know, what we do here is grant variances on property and structures that exist physically out in nature, and how they exist with our zoning ordinance. So when you get into, this gentleman's the contractor for this particular structure, I think what Chris is saying, he may or may not be the contractor for a house that may be built next year or 30 years from now.
I understand there's a lot of.
So I think we would be better.
I don't have any issues if you go against the recommendation and approve it or follow the recommendation. I would just caution you leaving the future home that's not built and uncertain when it is to be built out of the stipulation.
Okay. All right. Well, that will not be part of that. We will not add that amendment to my motion then. Do we need to go back?
No. I think we're good with the stated, because your motion was to approve.
Yes, based on testimony given.
And then you got a second from Mr. Blades.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what's on the table right now. Is there any discussion? Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. We've had discussion. All in favor of approval, vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. And show of hands, who wants to vote aye? Okay, we have 3 ayes, and opposed, vote no. And we have 2 noes. So the motion to approve carries 3 in favor, 2 opposed. Okay. Our next case is case 4340. Delane Lopez requesting a variance of 5 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 10 feet for an existing garage. The existing garage is 5 feet from the south side property line. The variance will allow the property owner to build a deck on the back of the house, which will meet all required setbacks. Applicant is also in need of a 50 feet lot width variance from the 125-foot requirement, and a variance of approximately 22,557 square feet from the lot size requirement of 40,000 square feet. The property located at 1002 Shadow Lane, Lot 9, Lake Forest Acres, is parcel 8, Group C, on tax map 29J, and consists of approximately 17,443 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4340.
And Mr. Chair, as said, the applicant is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 10 feet for an existing garage, as well as a variance of 50 feet from the lot width requirement of 125 feet, and a variance of 22,557 square feet from the lot size requirement of 40,000 square feet. This is an existing substandard lot of record created in April of 1959. Therefore, staff can recommend approval of the listed variances.
Okay, who's here to represent 4340 Lopez? Name and address, please, sir.
Daryl Leone, 1002 Shadow Lane.
And what would you like to tell the board?
I agree with what this gentleman down here said. We're requesting the variance just based on all pre-existing. We bought this home 6 months ago, so the current state of the home is all pre-existing. The deck we're looking to build is actually a replacement for a deck that's far run its lifespan, and at this point kind of poses a danger. It's definitely not a deck I would want to run across in case of an emergency. So I just agree with that they say. I do want to just take a second to thank the team in building codes and zoning, because this process for somebody who stumbles into a problem they didn't know existed is a very tough one to tackle. So I just want to say thank you.
This parcel backs up against the core property.
Yes, on the lake.
Oh. All right. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4340 Lopez? And if not, we'll close public comment on 4340 and turn to the board. Do I hear a motion on 4340?
Motion to approve based on staff recommendations.
I have a motion to approve 4340 based on staff recommendations, and I will second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, vote aye. Aye. Opposition, vote no, and the ayes have it. Thank y'all very much. Our next case is, hold on, 43. Michelle Brito is requesting a variance of 4 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures. The existing cabana is 4 feet from the water's edge to the pool. Applicant will also need a variance of 17 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 40 feet. The existing house is 23 feet from the south rear property line. The variances will allow the property owner to be able to pour concrete for a proposed accessory structure that will meet the required setbacks. The property is located at 1770 Saundersville Road, Lot 16, I guess that's Ilmar subdivision, parcel 5, Group A on Wilson County Tax Map 31C, consists of 40,817 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations on 4341.
The applicant is requesting a variance of 4 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures, and that 4 feet is from the existing cabana to the water's edge of the existing pool. There's also a variance of 17 feet from the south rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. And this is an older tract of record, with the lot being created in June of 1966. Upon the field review, staff noted that there is also an additional variance request that would need to be added for separation, and that's between the home and the cabana structure. This variance would need to be 7 feet, as the cabana is 1 foot from the existing proposed home. So the original separation variance is for the cabana to the water's edge, and the cabana on a visual inspection was not caught because the roof lines overlap, so it looked like it was all part of the primary structure. It is actually a separate structure on field reviews, and it is 1 foot from the existing home. During the site review, the applicant did state that all the existing structures were built prior to him purchasing the property. Being an older lot of record, staff can recommend approval of the variance request.
Okay, who's here to represent 4341?
I am Michael Brito, 1770 Saundersville Ferry Road, Mount Juliet.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
I'm just hoping I get the variance. The things that were in question were pre-existing before I bought the house. So I was hoping you guys give me the variance so I can continue on with building the storage shed.
Okay. And pardon me, I mispronounced your name, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's the worst thing that happens to me today. I'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I understand. Does the board have questions for the applicant? And keep in mind, as the staff mentioned, we would need an additional variance on this case if the board decides to act in the affirmative of 7 foot between the home and the cabana. There are no questions from the board. For the applicant, does anyone else here wish to address 4341 Brito? And
Quick question for staff. Christopher, you have a positive recommendation based on it's an older lot of record. I'm assuming, of course, the lot appears to meet requirements. R1 zoning, it's over 40,000 square foot. So that all these structures predate the zoning ordinance, or is it just the lot itself predates?
The lot itself predates the.
So they get a pass on all the structures that were built
The only
after
thing that I know predate, structure-wise, would be the existing home. It was built prior to the zoning ordinance. I don't know when the cabana was built.
Okay.
Nor did I didn't look up when the pool was put in, but I don't know when the cabana was built.
anything else?
This doesn't make sense.
But to answer your question, yes, everything on there would be similar to him proposing a new structure that would require a side yard setback. We'd be able to recommend approval of that due to it being a new structure, even though it's an older lot.
Just because it's an older lot?
Yes, sir.
Even though the lot meets current size requirements?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Again, does anyone else here wish to address 4341 Brito? And if not, we'll close the public hearing. And turning to the board for a motion or further discussion. And I'll move to approve 4341, the required variances, plus the additional variance of 7 foot between the home and the existing cabana. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, second. Discussion? If there is no discussion, then all in favor of the motion vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank y'all.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for all your help, everybody that helped me through this.
You're welcome.
I didn't have any gray hair when it started, but now look. Thank you.
He'll do it to you. All right, case 4342, Terry Abney requesting a variance of 3 feet from the north side yard, setback requirement of 10 feet. If approved, the proposed garage will be 7 feet from the north side property line. The applicant is also requesting a variance of 8 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 15 feet. The existing shed attached to the house is 7 feet from the north side property line. The property is located at 207 April Drive, Lot 15, Highland Estates, Parcel 15, Group H on Wilson County Tax Map 53I. It consists of 1.02 acres and is zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4342.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the north side yard setback requirement of 10 feet. If approved, the proposed garage will be 7 feet from the north side property line. Applicant is also requesting a variance of 8 feet from the south side yard setback requirement of 15 feet. That is for the addition that was put on the home in the past. This is not an older tract of record, with the lot being created in November of 1978. Therefore, staff cannot recommend approval. Staff will note during the site review, it was noted that the back of this property has significant slope that could be considered a hardship as it limits the buildable area of the property. Also, in the aerial, the grass lawn to the rear of the property is predominantly the applicant's septic or fill line locations, and that was visible on the site review as well. You could see the tank location along with where the leach lines were, where the grass is a little greener, as dry as it's been. And Ty, I'm going to ask you to confirm this. We measured that addition onto the existing home while we were out there. That ended up not needing that variance, correct? Right. Yeah. So the only variance that is needed is the 3 foot from the side property line for the proposed structure. The existing home, the property was staked. It did have survey stakes, so we did do a field measure out there, and that proposed addition is farther than, I think it's 15.5 off the property line.
Okay, clear that up again for me, because I've got, is it a 5-foot variance from the south side yard property line of 10? So does that 5 needs to?
No, it's a 3-foot, correct? Yeah.
On my paperwork, it's 5.
That might be a misprint.
4342.
43, 42?
Excuse me, hold on. Nope, I'm on the wrong one. Yes, you're correct, okay. All right, you're
Yeah,
correct.
so it's a 3-foot side yard setback requirement for the proposed garage. There was also an initially requested 8-foot variance for the existing structure from the opposite side yard, which would have been the south side yard. That, there were survey stakes out there, so we did a field measure on that. That structure is actually about 15 and a half feet from the property line, so that variance is not needed in this case. It's just the one for the proposed structure.
All they need is the 3 feet from the north side yard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. Okay, who's here to represent 4342 Abney? Yes, sir.
Terry Abney, 207 April Drive.
Anything you'd like to tell the board, sir?
Just trying to get a variance I'm trying to do a addition. I'm trying to do a remodel of my basement to move my mother in, 89-year-old mother. We're wanting to do like a little apartment down there for her. And to do that, we were needing the garage for extra storage and car and that kind of thing.
Okay, does the board have any questions for the applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4342 Abney? And if there's not, we'll close the public comment.
I've got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if anything was discussed about the basement being turned into,
They told me I had to do this first before I could, because I was asking for a permit.
okay, maybe building codes. Do you know what size the internal dwelling unit's going to be in the basement? Is it going to have a full kitchen and?
No, ma'am. I was told you couldn't put a stove in there, so it's going to be just a kitchen sink, that kind of stuff, with refrigerator, countertop, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Bathroom, bedroom, living room. It already has a downstairs. It's basically a living room area.
Okay.
We called it a den, basically, and it's got a half bath. It's there.
Okay.
So I was told that I had to do this before I could ask for the permit to do the addition.
And that's on the inside of the basement?
Yes, ma'am. And that's inside that structure. We're not adding any square footage at all.
Okay.
So it's probably about 1,100 square feet, because upstairs, the total of the house is like 2,200 square feet.
Okay. So that's why they told you you couldn't have a full kitchen then, if it's 1,100 square feet, because it doesn't meet the size of an internal accessory dwelling unit. Okay.
Yeah, AIU or
ADU.
ADU, yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure on that. That way we didn't have any hiccups moving forward.
Yep, and I've already talked to my neighbor, and he doesn't care where I put the garage, and my side yard is full of bamboo. Between me and him, he planted bamboo, and it's 25, 30 feet tall.
Thank you.
Okay. But this request is for your 3-foot side yard.
Yes, sir.
variance. Okay. So does the board have any other questions for this gentleman? And I think I've already called for other comments. Does anyone else wish to address 4342? And if not, we'll close the public hearing and turn to the board. To hear a motion in regard to 4342 Abney.
I'll make a motion to approve, and based on the new variances, and I believe it's just 3 feet that's needed on the north side, is that correct?
3 foot from the side yard?
From the north side
North
yard.
side yard. Okay. So your motion is to approve the 3-foot variance from the north side yard?
That's correct.
Okay. Does he have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? And if there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Okay, our next case is case 4343. Martin Aguilar is requesting a renewal for short-term rental. The board approved the short-term rental August 15th, 2024 for 1 year. Property is located at 8469 Saundersville Ferry Road, parcel 38.01 on Wilson County Tax Map 32, consists of 5.0 acres, 5.20 acres, and is zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations on 4343.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a renewal for a short-term rental. The board approved the short-term rental on August 15th of 2024 for a period of 1 year with the following conditions. The business plan was part of the approval. The max guest limit was 8. The use and amenities of the property have not changed, nor have there been any public complaints about the property to staff's knowledge. There's no language in the zoning ordinance granting staff permission to renew short-term rental approvals. However, the board may consider this request. Most recently, in renewal cases that have been expired, the board has reset the period to 1 year. Typically, if they come back in for the expiration, you all have issued extended use variances. Most recent cases that have expired, you've started that clock over.
Now, say that again, Christopher.
In the past, when Airbnbs have come back in for a second or third renewal, the board will grant them for an extended period of time. Of most recent Airbnb approvals that have been expired, such as this, you all have started that time clock over at 1 year.
Got you. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Maria Zelaya, 327 Acumelo Line, Mount Juliet, and I'm here speaking for the owner, Martin Aguilar, the owner of the property. And he would like to renew this short-term rental permit for another year, or I don't know how long it is possible to have it again.
Well, normally, when you come back for second renewal, if we've had no complaints, we've been going to 3 years. But since this one was not renewed timely, it expired in August, then normally what we've done is when it's renewal of an expired existing short-term rental, we've started the clock over again at 1 year.
Oh, okay.
So it's to your benefit if this is reapproved. It's to your benefit to get it to stay current on the approval.
The only problem that we forgot was what the date of expiration for this, and we came late now. So, but we will try to keep it in mind for next time.
Yeah, you put it on your calendar.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah. Okay. Does the board have questions for the applicant? And we have no complaints on record?
No, sir.
Okay. Does anyone else here wish to address 4343? And if not, we'll close public comment and turn to the board. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve for 1 year.
I have a motion to approve the request for 1 year, and all of their original stipulations remain in place?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have a motion to approve for 1 year with all the original stipulations attached to the motion, and do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay, we've been in session for an hour and a half. We're going to take a 10-minute recess, and then we will come back and address the last 4 or 5 cases at about 10:35. If I could have your attention, please, we'll go back into session at this time. Our next case is case 4344, Ralph Capps, requesting a variance of 5 feet from the north side yard setback requirement of 10 feet. The existing barn is 5 feet from the north side property line. The variance will allow the property owner to replace the back deck, which meets all setback requirements. The property is located at 767 Vanderbilt Road, Lot 35, Hayes Hills, parcel 140 on Wilson County Tax Map 50. It consists of 42,487 square feet, zoned R1 residential. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4344.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the north side yard setback requirement of 10 feet. This is an older tract of record being created in May of 1959. Therefore, staff can recommend approval.
Okay, who's here to represent 4344 Caps?
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
767 Vanderbilt Road.
Anything you'd like to tell the board, sir?
Yes, sir. I actually have a notarized letter from my neighbor whose adjacent property or properties on the line, just saying that they approve and no issues there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Here, would you pass that down to Karen, please? All right, any questions from the board for the applicant? And if there are none, does anyone else here wish to address 4344? If not, we'll close public hearing and turn to the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve based on staff recommendation.
Have a motion to approve based on staff recommendation. We have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Discussion? And if there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay, our next case is case 4345. Dave Gober, on behalf of Janice Huddleston and Connie Jordan, requesting a renewal of use of the property for Haunted Woods. The property was approved by the board on August 20th, 2020 for 5 years. The property is located at 7040 Murfreesboro Road. It's parcel 31 on Wilson County Tax Map 136. Consists of 38.14 acres, zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations for 4345.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a renewal to use the property for the Haunted Woods. The property was approved by the board on August 20th, 2025 for 5 years. To give you some history on this, this use was originally approved for a 3-year period in 2009, and then they came back the subsequent year in 2010 and asked for additional approval, and it was approved for 5 years. In 2016, they were granted an additional 5-year approval, and then the most recent approval was in 2020 for 5 years. The use variance expired on August 20th of 2025. There is no change to the business plan nor the operating hours to staff's knowledge, but given the history of approvals on this property, staff can recommend approval.
I was going to ask you, Chris, did the original approval, I noticed on our paperwork today, it has an option for private events throughout the year. Was that part of the original approval?
No, sir.
All right. Name and address, please, sir.
Dave Gober, 1018 Allen Road, and that's in Murfreesboro.
Okay. And anything you'd like to tell the board, sir?
Just like, I'm thinking the business plan, if we could add like a Thursday evening for like a discounted night for people, and then Sunday. Right now, it's just open Friday and Saturday. So I'm just requesting for Thursday and Sunday.
And did this not expire a couple of months ago, this approval? I mean, according to our paperwork here, this was granted August 20th of 20 for 5 years. So it would have expired August 20th of this year.
Yes, sir.
I do have a land lease agreement signed, 5 years.
Well, that's private, right? That's between you and I'm talking about the approval from the county zoning perspective. Okay. Questions from the board?
The business plan has the contact info and all that stuff for...
No, the business plan does not have the contact info on there. We have that in the application for this site, yes.
I just noticed it's about open throughout the year for private events.
Well, that's a new request for this particular thing. Their original request, I believe, their operating hours were from, I think the board placed on them, it was September 15th through November 15th, which encompassed the entire Halloween season. So it was for 2 months out of every year for 5 subsequent years. And it's been in operation, I don't know how long it's been in operation for. It's been granted variances since 2009 for that operation. I don't know if it was operational prior to 2009.
How many optional private events are you looking to have?
I mean, I put that in there for like, say, birthday parties, things like that. It's basically just going to be curtailed to the Halloween for coming up event next year. But, you know, when you take on a business like that and having different ideas and things, you know, I want to, if somebody wanted to say, I want to rent that out for a special event and use your, you know, your facilities, then I wanted to be able to do that.
How many events did you have in the past year?
I haven't taken ownership of it yet. We have a signed contract. So I take over January 1st.
Normally, it's just open like 60 days out of the year. Would that be correct? Or
Yeah, I mean, that's the window we're looking for.
for Halloween or something, yeah. And you're wanting to expand that to where you could possibly have events throughout the year?
Yeah, for example, like, and I haven't requested that this time, but I've got to get my feet wet and figure it out. But like maybe doing like a fall festival when Wilson County schools are out or Rutherford County schools are out. And those fall in fall break in October. Just another way to make it more accessible.
Well, the fall festival, that would fall within your normal operating hours. You wouldn't need a special exception for that.
All right.
What would make, I know his request, I guess, has always been September and October, or previous owner's request. What would make this different from, you know, we have wedding venues all over the county. I got them everywhere in my backyard or whatever. They have events they have weddings year round. Those that get permission.
That's a completely different conversation.
That is, okay, that's totally different than what they're doing.
Yes, sir. Those wedding venues in that example are considered secondary to the agricultural uses on those properties.
You know,
wedding venues are allowed because they're secondary uses. They're part of the ag tourism.
Yes, sir. They're considered secondary to the primary agricultural use on the property. There is not an agricultural use on this property.
You know, this has been the haunted woods
Very interesting.
for
Yeah,
some
right.
period of time.
I remember it coming in here, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
many times or several times. But I don't know that expanding the use to year-round on this scale on 38 acres wouldn't be a separate conversation with quite a bit more discussion. But it's, I mean, an event venue, you know, year-round of this size would seem to me to bring on more talk.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. The fact that, you know, you have grass parking available for 800 customers per night, to allow that for year-round use might be excessive without having a better game plan.
Yeah, if
I can come back and put
Yeah, something more specific, yeah.
If this is not, you know, associated use with the primary agricultural use, then there might be commercial requirements that have to be met if it's going to be full-time. All right. Does the board have any other questions for the applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4345? Okay. We'll close the public hearing and then turn to the board. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this case. What are they requesting? 5 more years? I need to go back and read the. What are they requesting time-wise?
A renewal. They didn't.
Yeah, they're just requesting renewal.
Do we need to put
we have in the past.
Yeah.
The last one was 5 years.
All right.
Yeah, and this is a different owner, so I don't know if that plays into what you're considering, but this is a different owner than what has been previously requested the last.
What is your recommendation on a new owner as far as the time period?
Well, I mean, with like Airbnbs,
we start over.
We have, yes, sir.
Well,
on the two that I can recall that have switched owners, we've started those over when they've came into.
This one has expired.
Right.
Yeah, this expired a couple of months ago.
Could I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I just think under the circumstances, it's going to be, seems like a lot of uncertainty about what's going to go on. Other than the fact that it was late, I think those two things combined, 1 year would be sufficient.
Can I say something?
We have closed the public hearing. Okay.
Could you reopen the public hearing?
I could if I was inclined to.
Okay, just asking.
But, Mr. Crockett, to address your concerns, I think a 1-year approval, you know, would be appropriate. And I'm also of the opinion that we don't need to expand the use past what we've already got until another application is made, and we'll have more conversation about that. Okay. Well, reopen the public hearing, but, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to be short. Come forward, give me your name and address.
Dana Chapman from Las Casas, Tennessee. I've been doing this 17 years. I think what the guy is really wanting, and he's a local in Rutherford County, is to keep Deadland like it is, the tradition that it is, but to add Thursday and Sunday, because right now, everybody wants.
You don't need to add Thursday and Sunday, they're already on the request.
Okay, so that's what we're voting for then, right?
That's
Just that.
what he's
He
requesting.
wanted to add, instead of just September and October, option for private events throughout the year. And that's what we're maybe wanting to address in a different meeting.
I gotcha.
Okay.
And the agreement with the landowner is for September and October only.
Okay.
That is what it wouldn't be any other time of the year.
But that could be expanded at any point.
But he would have to come here to do that, right?
That's what we're discussing.
There's just too much uncertain right now.
Okay. All right.
So I'll close this again. All right. All right, turning to the board. In regard to case 4345, do I hear a motion?
Neil made the motion already.
Well, I was in the process. I started the motion. I didn't get through it. I will make a motion that, and y'all help me clear this up if need be. I'll make a motion that we approve 4345 for 1 year for operation through September and October. You can add Thursdays and Sundays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is in your business statement. But any expansion past that for private events throughout the year would need to come back before the board.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing is we're making a motion to approve the previous use.
But he's requesting to add Thursdays and Sundays.
Yeah,
That was not a part of the previous use.
right.
I don't know that it was or wasn't, but we'll specify it that way.
Okay, well, I don't know either. I'm just based on that.
So the days of operation during September and October will be Thursdays and Sundays, 7 to 10, Friday and Saturdays, 7 to midnight.
Yes.
Okay? So we have that in form of a motion, excluding the request for additional private events throughout the year. Do we have a second?
For a 1 year time period.
For a 1 year time period. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Our next case is case 4346, Keystone Construction, on behalf of Richard Norvell, requesting a variance of 1 foot 9 inches from the height requirement of 22 feet. If approved, the proposed accessory structure will be 23 feet in height. 23 feet 3 inches in height. The property is located at 8440 Central Pike, Lot 1, Robertson property, parcel 42 on Wilson County Tax Map 96. Consists of 16.23 acres, zoned R1 residential. We get staff recommendations now on 4346.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 1 foot 9 inches from the height requirement of 22 feet. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval.
Okay, who's here to represent Keystone Construction on behalf of Norvell?
Doug Blake, 554 Scott Road, representing Keystone on behalf of Richard. He's looking for a place to house his RV, mostly during the winter months, and store hay from the property as well in the wintertime. I believe when he went to bidding and codes and zoning, he was Greenbelt exempt or agricultural exempt. But yeah, he's just looking for a place to store his RV, and that's why we need the height.
And I may have not, did you say that he would or would not put, did you mention hay or no?
He said he would be storing some hay.
I thought you said that. I just wanted to clarify.
How far is this structure off the road?
It's well back. I have my site. It's well past.
It's
well
90.
past the house.
It's 90 feet past the house that you see in the aerial. I don't have a distance from the road.
So I guess my question to staff would be, is at what point does this become a barn and an agricultural use? What would be the guideline?
In it?
Huh?
When you put an RV in it?
I think when you put RV in it, it's not.
You don't know what I got in my barn. If I got hay in it, I'm having a look. You reckon I got an RV? If I had one, I'd put it in there.
We still have the height requirement.
Yeah.
though. It doesn't specify in the zoning ordinance that ag use eliminates the height requirement.
I would argue that, but
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't state.
I would argue the state of Tennessee has an ordinance that would say that the county cannot prohibit or regulate a normal farming practice.
I understand.
But anyway, I guess that doesn't apply to Wilson counties.
Let's stay on track, folks. Does anybody have any questions for this applicant? All right. If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4346 Keystone Construction, Norvell? All right. We'll close this public hearing, hopefully for good. And turning to the board, do we have a motion in regard to 4346?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to
1 foot 9 inches.
have a motion to approve the variance request on 4346 by Mr. Crockett. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, and I don't know that it's worth mentioning, but the variance is for 1 foot 9 inches, but then it says it's only going to be 23 foot 3 inches, so those two numbers don't really
That's
line up.
a typo.
Typo?
That's a typo on the agenda.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no, and I vote no. All right, our next case is case 4347. Renee Moore requesting a variance of 5 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures. The existing carport is 3 feet away from the existing barn. The variance will allow the property owner to build a shed that will meet all required setbacks. The property is located at 140 Bluegrass Parkway, Lot 35, Wildwood Estates, Parcel 21, Group B on Wilson County Tax Map 70I. It consists of 3.2 acres, zone R1 residential. We get staff recommendations on 4347.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures. This is an older tract of record with the lot being created in September of 1972. The structures needing the variance are existing, therefore staff can recommend approval of the variance request.
Who's here to represent 4347 Moore?
Renee Moore, 140 Bluegrass Parkway, Lebanon, Tennessee.
Anything you'd like to tell the board, ma'am?
This is all new to me. I just want to put a shed out back for storage. And they said that my carport is too close to my other existing building, but it's been there since 2006. At that time, they didn't ask for the 8-foot.
Well, the staff has recommended approval, so
Thank you.
see how that goes. Does the board have any questions for this applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4347 Moore? And if not, I'll close the public hearing and we'll ask for a motion from the board in regard to 4347. And staff has recommended approval, so I'll move that we approve this case. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Who said?
Mr.
Manning.
Okay. And we are going to adjourn. And Mike, before we get out of here, since you're still here.
Yep. I've got some additional points of information before you second that adjournment.
Hold on just a moment. Mr. Jennings needs to go. Would you give us a quick update on the shooting range, please? Or the
No, I don't. I really don't want to discuss it openly where it's been filmed, but I will, just to tell you.
Well, we cannot discuss it if it's a problem.
Do what?
We can just not discuss it if it's a problem.
No, I want to, there's some misconception out there that Ms. Murphy and I resolved this case. We did not. It's still set for trial in January. What we did do is we had several different parts of it that were in violation of our zoning ordinance that we considered, and so 2 or 3 of those we got a resolution of without having to go to court, and got a very, I'm not coming up with the right, very quick fix for it. Usually when we go to court, if we're successful, the judge gives 60 days for somebody to clean up something. On a couple of these things, we got them to agree to do it within 10 days and 15 days, I believe. So we took kind of bites at it. The case is still pending. So.
Good enough.
Did
you hear that?
I heard that. Let me make just one comment, Mike.
Sure.
The problem is, and I'm not sure how this got distributed, this letter of agreement unsigned by you and Mr. Bird's attorney has been floating around.
Oh, we haven't been floating around. We agreed.
No, what I mean is
I sent that out unsigned to people who asked for a copy of it because it's a public record, but we have an agreement.
okay. And I think there was some concern that in the past, when we've had a case that gone to, was going to go to court, that if there's any kind of settlement, that it would come back to this board.
This board's not involved in it. This case was brought by Ms. Murphy as building inspector. She's the plaintiff. It's not, as the zoning administrator, I got to get that right. Yeah, it's not a...
It would come back here if they had sued the board or whatnot. So.
Even though the board voted no shooting range, we're not part of it.
You're not part of this lawsuit that's pending now. What you're talking about is a part of it, yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, let me say this without being too specific, okay?
Yeah, okay.
We have some facts in this county that are going to hurt us on this shooting range.
Yeah.
I don't need to say more.
Okay.
They're going to hurt us. And we'll deal with that when we get there.
All right.
Christopher, do you have something else you wanted to mention?
I don't, not as exciting as that, but next month you'll have, there'll be a calendar on adoption on your agenda as well. Just take a more specific glance at that. There's a couple, the deadline is moving on there, so it's not just going to be a status quo calendar as you're looking at. The deadline will be moving up so we can meet some public notice requirements. I just wanted to update you all on the ordinances that are currently in the pipeline. The lot size ordinance is being heard tomorrow by Planning Commission. There's a PUD amendment ordinance, which that one will not affect your all's regulation, but that one goes in November. And then there are 3 ordinances in the hopper for the next Planning and Zoning Committee when that is called, and that is the height ordinance, the contractor's office definition clarification for commercial districts, and the accessory dwelling unit size ordinance will all go on the next Planning and Zoning Committee's agenda.
What is being discussed on the accessory dwelling unit size?
There's a proposal to increase it from 600 square feet to 1,000. That's all I've got for you all today.
Thank you, sir.
I've got a question, I guess. So we've had several today, these lots that were, are we on the record still? I thought we were
No,
doing
we're not on the record.
Okay.
We just said.
Not that it matters. I'm not going to say anything inappropriate, I hope, but
You may be on TV.
well, yeah. So we've had several, today specifically, we had several lots that were grandfathered in, but yet their sizes met the current zoning. The last one being a 3-acre lot in R1, but yet, and they have buildings that definitely aren't grandfathered in. She said her building was her, but yet they're allowed that grandfather status on buildings that were built
Anything
previously.
they would have to follow. Well, I mean, they would have to, like, the current proposed structures on all those grandfathered lots. The proposed structures in most cases we're going to meet the setback requirements. I think with all of them exception to one today. In the past, on older lake lots, when somebody comes in and requests a 5-foot required setback on a substandard lot, standard or
They were substandard lots. These are all standard lots. So anybody that's got a lot that was created, that's grandfathered, can just go do anything. Like, what about our height variances that we discussed? So if I wanted to put a 30-foot tall building, accessory building on a lot that predates the zoning ordinance, you're going to give them a positive recommendation?
Probably not on a height variance, on a setback maybe.
So why do we pick setbacks and not heights? Why do we pick on the height variance so aggressively? Why on setbacks, you mentioned that based on the slope of the ground, but yet on the heights, when I mention the slope of the ground, then I'm not ridiculed, but I'm brought up, well, that doesn't count. But yet on other deals, if the ground slopes off, then you can move an accessory building up beside the primary building based on the slope of the ground. But why does that apply to a height variance on an accessory building?
I think you're
The
comparing
height
apples
variance on a slope?
They're both variances on an accessory building.
variances, but-
One of them is a height, and then one of them's, I'm just
Specifically,
discussing.
when we go to measure a building for a height variance, our policy is, and I don't know whether this is in the ordinance or just our
It's
policy,
just a policy.
that we measure from the existing grade,
Right.
the average of the existing grade. Okay, that's how we measure it.
And y'all do that before they grade it or before they
No, it's
put a
from
gravel
the
pad?
existing grade, not the pad.
Right. But I'm saying, so
Big
does
difference.
somebody go out there before? The last one we just approved, he already had a gravel pad laid in the picture. Did somebody go out and measure it before he put the gravel pad in, or did they measure the contour of that ground?
Well, they should be measuring from the undisturbed area,
Which
but
in
it
most
may,
cases,
that may be way yonder far off.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying and I understand we're addressing that going forward, but
But on the other hand,
I'm tired of getting kicked in the butt because I'm trying to grant some relief to people on a height
that's
variance.
not what you're getting kicked, you're getting kicked in the butt because you're arbitrary and inconsistent.
I was pretty consistent today.
Being consistently wrong is not being consistent.
Well, you didn't say I was consistently right.
Do we need to make that in the motion?
Hopefully,
It's going to get cleaned up.
Angela's going to take care of all this.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something in regards to some of that.
Yes.
You were talking about, you had questions with Christopher in regards to the gentleman that came up here that had existing structures. And that's the one that Christopher recommended approval of.
Because it was grandfathered in.
Because the lot was an older lot of record.
But not the buildings.
But not the buildings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you will have a lot of those in going forward, because when they are coming to zoning to build anything, we check everything that's on that property. So if there's one thing on that property, even though it doesn't have anything to do with what they're proposing to build, it has to conform to the setbacks. And if it doesn't, that's why we're bringing them here. That's why you're having a whole lot more of all these existing structures that don't meet setbacks.
And I understand when you have a substandard lot that's grandfathered in.
Right.
But when you have a 3-acre lot in a R1 zoning, so that I didn't understand why they just naturally get a pass or get a positive recommendation.
In my mind, I don't
care.
see
I
the
don't
recommendations. I'm not going to argue that recommendations with him.
Well, no, I don't care.
But if you have a lot that was created before 72,
yeah,
and it has a house that was built before 72 on it,
yes,
then they are eligible for significant.
What if the house was built in 2000?
Okay, now, was it built to the setback?
Yeah. And then
It
once you said her accessory building was built in 2000.
Adding it, to me, it's very gray when they start adding accessory buildings in current times to a lot that was formerly grandfathered in.